In this short lecture, we're going to talk about variable scope in computer programming. We're using Visual Basic. Scope is when variables exist. So when you declare your variable from that point to the time that that variable is destructed is that variable's scope. The time in which it's available for use is called the variable's lifetime. Now, a variable cannot actually be used or called outside of its scope. There are three different types of scope that we need to talk about. The first is global scope. Global is when a variable can be called or used anywhere within a program. A local variable is a variable that is defined and used inside of a sub or a function, and that is the only place that it can be used, such as in a button click. A procedural variable scope is when a variable is declared within a specific block of code and it cannot be used outside of that block of code. Now, a global variable is declared at the top of the program before any procedures or subs are called. For example, when you click over to your code side, you see public class form 1. And then you see end class before you add any events such as a button click or a text change event. If you go just below that public class form 1 and declare variables there, that variable is in global scope and you are allowed to use it within any event inside of that class form. As an example, let's look at this program. In this program, I have set up a short program to look at local and global scope. If we look at the code, you see at the top where I've declared num, and I've declared it just underneath public class form 1. It is not inside any of my button clicks. Inside button local click, I declared num again, which is going to take precedence over this variable. So when it's declared here, num is going to have a value of 10, and then I've shown that value inside of the label. In my button click, I'm going to accept this num that was declared globally, and I'm going to show that in my label. So when I run my code, as it compiles and builds, when I click local, the value is 10 because that's the value that I gave it. And when I click global, the value is 5. It does not matter how many times I click the buttons because those values are set. With button local, it's set locally. With button global, it's set globally. That's it for variable scope.